How I feel right now? 100%. I don't fuck with nobody. And I'm finna make everybody regret playing with me. That's all I gotta say.
Big Boogie just let something slip that's got the streets buzzing. He hinted that C-Money might not have died by accident. He might have been sacrificed. And when it came time to point fingers, Boogie didn't aim low. He went straight for the top, calling out none other than his own label boss, Yo Gotti. This wasn't some random shade either. Boogie made it clear he's finished protecting CMG and Yo Gotti's empire. He basically ripped the curtain back and showed the world how dirty things might really be behind the scenes. According to him, the truth is that C-Money didn't just fall out of favor, somebody stood to gain from his death. And in Boogie's eyes, all trails lead back to CMG's leadership. That's huge because CMG has been one of the biggest powerhouses in Memphis rap, with names like Moneybagg Yo, 42 Dugg, ESTG, and of course Gotti himself holding weight in the game. But when one of their own insiders, a signed artist, starts airing out secrets, that's when the cracks start showing. Fans are whispering that this might be the beginning of the end for CMG. Boogie didn't just stir drama. He lit a fuse under the label's whole reputation. The message he's sending is loud and clear. CMG is collapsing from the inside, and Boogie doesn't plan on going down with the ship. Now the big question hanging over Memphis is chilling. Was C-Money's death just another street tragedy? Or was it the ultimate betrayal? A backstabbing move that came from within CMG itself? What really lit the fuse in all this drama was a video Big Boogie himself dropped on social media. It wasn't some long rant, nah. It was one of those quick, shadowy clips where he didn't even show his face. But the tone in his voice? Cold, sharp. You could hear the weight in every word, like he was sending a direct threat to whoever dared cross him.
If I love you, I'm in love with you. I don't give how many times we get it, we bump heads.
That's real.
You make me mad. I'm in love with you. Don't down me. I need you.
Man, so people saying Memphis rapper Fast Cash C-Money just passed away. For the people that don't recognize him, he had the viral song High Off Me that went viral. If I ain't tripping, I think that's his biggest song, but he sadly just passed away.
How I feel right now? 100%. I don't fuck with nobody. And I'm finna make everybody regret playing with me.
He promised that somebody out there was going to regret playing with him. Fans went wild trying to decode the meaning. Who was he talking about? Was this aimed at somebody inside CMG? Or was he warning the streets? The mystery only grew when Boogie came back with an even more cryptic follow-up on his IG story. That's when things took a serious turn. He wrote, "I'm focusing on my daughter, myself, and my career. I ain't letting nobody get in my way. It's gonna be 2026. I'm changing day by day as a man. People barely ask me about my mental. I barely even talk to anybody now. I don't care to. Everybody that ever played with me before made me this way. Today I'm focused because I see a bigger picture of my own life." Those words hit different. He wasn't just venting, he was peeling back layers of pain and frustration. The way he spoke about his daughter, about isolation, about people playing with him, it painted a picture of an artist who feels cornered, betrayed, and ready to fight back. And the timing? That's what really shook people. Right when whispers of C-Money's death being more than just tragedy started swirling, here comes Boogie dropping hints that he's seeing the bigger picture. Fans couldn't help but connect the dots. Was Boogie using these cryptic posts to call out the betrayal he sees inside CMG without saying it outright? When Big Boogie dropped that numb and grinding message, he didn't have to say Yo Gotti's name or C-Money's. The silence spoke louder than words. The vibe was crystal clear. Boogie was done protecting anybody, done keeping quiet, done carrying the weight for CMG. Fans instantly caught the shade, and within minutes, the dots started connecting like puzzle pieces. See, people already had their suspicions about C-Money's death. It felt too sharp, too clean, like somebody wanted it to look random. But when Boogie straight up confessed that he felt numb and didn't care anymore, fans took it as confirmation. That one message didn't just raise eyebrows, it cracked the case wide open in the court of public opinion. Fast Cash C-Money was taken out during a shootout in the Fraser neighborhood of Memphis, a place already scarred by violence, but this one hit different. At first, the story spread like just another tragedy in the streets. Another rapper gone, another family shattered, but then the raw, unedited footage leaked online, and suddenly, things didn't look so random anymore. The way it went down looked surgical, like somebody had been waiting for that exact moment. That was all it took for fans and bloggers to start digging, and what they found flipped everything on its head. Whispers came out that C-Money already knew the storm was coming weeks before it hit. He wasn't moving reckless. He was moving like a man who knew danger was creeping closer every day. Word is, he even started making moves to protect his family, making sure his girlfriend and kids wouldn't be left with nothing if the worst happened. Now ask yourself, does that sound like someone who just got caught in the crossfire? Or does it sound like a man who knew his time was running out because the target was already on his back? That's exactly why C-Money was hustling so hard to lock in his deal with Yo Gotti and officially join CMG. He wanted stability. He wanted that check. He wanted his family taken care of. But here's where it gets chilling. According to sources close to him, C-Money didn't stop at the music deal. He also secured a life insurance policy, almost like he knew he needed a backup plan for his girlfriend and their kids. That kind of move doesn't sound like paranoia anymore. It sounds like preparation. But the shock really hit after his death.
What happened, gang? They just said my got killed.
Instead of seeing that insurance or label money come through, his girlfriend Kaya was left scrambling. She set up a GoFundMe just to cover his funeral costs and try to keep something aside for the kids. She even shared the link on Facebook with a heartbreaking tribute. She wrote, "Courtney taught me so much, so happy we got to love on each other. You took my heart with you for real. All I can do is play your music to hear your voice." Fans were floored by that. Sure, C-Money was still on the rise, but he didn't seem like the type of man to leave his family hanging without a plan. And if the rumors are real, he did make those plans, only for the money to vanish into thin air after his death. To make things messier, a leaked document popped up on Reddit just days after the shooting, showing pieces of C-Money's contract. It suggested he was set to receive a payout from CMG in the event of his death. But that payout? Gone. Nowhere to be found. People started saying the quiet part out loud. Did somebody cash in while leaving his family out in the cold? And then came Yo Gotti's reaction. Or rather, his complete lack of one. No condolence posts, no tribute, no money sent, no visit to the family, nothing. For a man who just signed C-Money to his label, that silence was deafening. And in the eyes of fans, that silence looked like confirmation. Confirmation that maybe this wasn't just another tragedy. Maybe C-Money was used, then discarded. For context, this wasn't months after his signing. C-Money had just gotten signed to CMG literally a day before he was killed. In fact, the footage that leaked shows him celebrating the new contract with his crew, smiling, laughing, right before a car rolled up and sprayed bullets into the crowd. Now people can't stop asking, was this a setup from the inside? Did Yo Gotti and CMG sacrifice their newest artist to collect the bag and erase a liability before he even had a chance to shine? According to police reports, multiple houses got sprayed with bullets during the same incident. But somehow, only one man ended up dead. Fast Cash C-Money. Now ask yourself, was that just a wild coincidence? Or was the so-called shootout nothing more than a distraction while the real target, C-Money, was lined up and taken out? That's where things get eerie, because truth be told, C-Money wasn't just another hungry artist looking for a handout. He was already making noise before Yo Gotti scooped him under CMG's wing. The deal he signed was supposed to level him up, put him in bigger rooms, give him more reach, open the door to new money. But as time went on, it became clear he and Gotti weren't looking at the same picture. While C-Money wanted real structure, meetings, signed paperwork, rollout plans for his music, Gotti was brushing it off like it wasn't serious business. Almost like the contract was worth more to CMG than it was to C-Money himself. Those red flags didn't go unnoticed. And then came the shady moves that made everything click for him. Anybody who knows Memphis politics knows the tension that's been boiling for years between Yo Gotti's CMG crew and Young Dolph's PRE camp. This isn't your average rap beef. It's personal, it's generational, and it runs straight through the streets. After Dolph was killed in 2021, eyes immediately turned toward Gotti and his brother, Big Jook. The whispers were loud. Some said Jook himself gave the green light on Dolph's hit. And then, just to add more smoke, police later arrested Hernandez Govan, a man closely tied to Big Jook in connection to Dolph's murder. That only poured more gas on the theory that CMG had dirty hands in Memphis's biggest tragedy. So when Big Jook himself was later taken out in a similar fashion, people couldn't agree on what it meant. Some said it was straight up karma. Others swore it was revenge. But the truth? Nobody really knows. What we do know is that it turned all eyes on CMG like never before. And if the streets are already watching your every move, the last thing you can afford is another body falling around your name. Yet somehow, right in the middle of this storm, C-Money ended up gone. Now the question that keeps echoing, was C-Money's death really just a stray bullet in a neighborhood shootout? Or was it a carefully planned operation inside a city where Yo Gotti runs a tight ship, and where stepping out of line can cost you your life? For years, Yo Gotti's name carried weight not just as a rapper, but as a shot caller with a mob boss reputation. That's exactly how he ran CMG, with total control, an obsession with loyalty, and a strict love for hierarchy. You didn't disrespect the boss because crossing Gotti meant you were ready to face his wrath. And for the longest time, most of his artists were fine with it. Why? Because they were winning. CMG had one of the most stacked rosters in the game. Glorilla, 42 Doug, Moneybag Yo, Black Youngsta. Everybody wanted to be part of that machine. But when Young Dolph was killed, everything changed. That mob boss persona that once made Gotti look powerful suddenly became a reminder of everything people hated about the streets bleeding into the music industry. What once looked like leadership now looked like gang politics hiding in plain sight. And from there, the empire started to crumble piece by piece. Artists went quiet, some drifted off, others lost momentum. Right now, the only real spark keeping CMG's name alive is Glorilla. And as talented as she is, one artist isn't enough to keep an entire label at the top. For Gotti, this wasn't the empire he imagined when he built CMG, so he started moving differently, laying low, posting less, and according to whispers, even reworking some of his artists' contracts behind the scenes. It looked like Gotti was trying to rebrand the whole operation, clean it up, switch the narrative. But to do that, he had to cut ties with anybody who didn't fit the new vision. And that's where things get dark. Look at Black Youngsta, one of Gotti's most loyal soldiers. The muscle. The guy Gotti sent when he needed chaos stirred up. The guy who would do things even Gotti himself wouldn't dare touch. That kind of loyalty made sense back in the mob boss days. But now, that same energy was looking like a liability, especially when the streets started paying attention to CMG's every move. So Gotti needed fresh faces, cleaner faces, artists who could be sold to the public without raising questions about street ties. That's where C-Money came in. He wasn't just another rapper, he was the perfect candidate for Gotti to rebuild the label's image around. At least, that's what it looked like at first. But the deeper C-Money got, the more he started seeing those red flags. Meetings being brushed off, shady moves being made, contracts not adding up. And when he realized what Gotti really wanted wasn't to build him up, but to use him as part of CMG's silent reboot, it hit him hard. He had walked straight into a trap. That's when the danger doubled. By signing to CMG, C-Money didn't just inherit the label's connections, he inherited all of Gotti's enemies too. That meant he wasn't just a rising star anymore. He was a target, both in the streets and in the label he thought was his ticket out. For Yo Gotti, C-Money was supposed to be the escape plan, the fresh face he could use to rebuild CMG's image. But for Big Boogie, C-Money was family. That's why when the news of Fast Cash C-Money's death broke, it hit the entire CMG camp hard, but none harder than Boogie. You could feel it in the very first post he made. His words were raw, unfiltered, straight from the soul. He wrote, "C-Money Smith, Jesus brother, I'm hurt to my heart, my favorite rapper from day one. I'm hurt about you, boy." That wasn't industry grief, that was a man breaking down in real time. And the pain didn't stop there. Boogie canceled his own birthday bash in Memphis, an event fans had been waiting for. He dropped the news in a blunt Facebook post that read, "I'm straight on Memphis. Birthday bash canceled. You guys lame forever." He tagged C-Money and added crying emojis, a post that said more than a long essay ever could. To outsiders, it may have looked like just another artist mourning his friend. But to those who know how hot the Memphis rap scene is right now, it was crystal clear. This wasn't just grief, this was strategy. Boogie wasn't just sad, he was laying low. He was removing himself from the crossfire before another tragedy struck. And fans actually backed him up heavy in the comments. People wrote things like, "That was a good idea, bro, you just saved people's lives." And, "He threw a pool party in my city, Atlanta, cause he knew if he would've did it in Memphis, it would've went sour. Do your birthday bash in Atlanta, gang." That speaks volumes. Because if fans, People on the outside looking in are openly saying that canceling a birthday party saved lives. What does that tell you about the energy in Memphis right now? The streets aren't just tense, they're boiling, and Boogie knew better than to risk turning his celebration into another crime scene. What started as mourning quickly turned into survival, and survival in this case meant stepping away from the city he came up in, the same city that took C-Money too soon. But after Big Boogie's latest posts, fans started putting the pieces together and noticing a disturbing pattern. It turns out he had been leaving cryptic messages ever since C-Money's death. In one, he wrote, "Everybody finna regret what they did and said, watch this." In another, he warned, "Going silent is my final warning." At first, people brushed it off like just another artist venting online. But now, with C-Money gone and Yo Gotti moving suspiciously quiet, those words don't sound random anymore. They sound like warnings, like signals from someone who knows way more than he's saying. And just when the air couldn't get heavier, Stan G dropped a chilling bomb during a no-jumper interview. He straight up told Black Youngsta and the rest of CMG to watch their backs. His words were icy. According to him, Yo Gotti has no problem cutting people off, not just from the label, but from life itself.
And dealing with them Texas boys, them folk got hit up. Them folk got hit up everywhere you go to, like the Fed watching. You know what I'm talking about? He signed that boy right here. That boy ended up going to jail. So they watching that boy so close right now because they you know what I'm talking about? The case is in August. You know what I'm talking about? I talked to Govan. I did an interview with Hernandez Govan, the dude who set the whole, supposedly, you know what I'm saying, dog murder up.
That warning hit the crew like a thunderclap because it came while they were still reeling from C-Money's death. Suddenly, everybody's eyes shifted to Boogie, the only one bold enough to keep posting hints, the only one still demanding answers without saying names. His cryptic posts now feel less like paranoia and more like survival tactics. But here's the scary part. If Yo Gotti really did have a hand in sacrificing C-Money, what makes Boogie safe? His silence isn't safety. It's a countdown. Every cryptic post feels like him screaming for help between the lines, and the more he exposes, the more dangerous his position becomes. Because if Gotti really is looking for his next fall guy, Boogie might be walking into the same trap C-Money never made it out of. And if that's the case, then Memphis isn't just dealing with another tragic loss. It's watching a cycle repeat itself right in front of our eyes. So now the question isn't just was C-Money sacrificed? The real question is, did Big Boogie just mark himself as the next target? If you've been following this deep dive into CMG, then you already know this story is far from over. What do you think? Is Boogie safe or is he next in line? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and don't forget to share this video with your people. I'll see you in the next one.